Today on The Social. Drew Barrymore gets emotional about her so-called wrecked postpartum body. Is this kind of honesty empowering or negative? And controversial MP Marilyn Gladu crosses the floor to join the Liberals. Will this move end up helping or hurting the party? Then, cast of the Testaments, the new evolution of The Handmaid's Tale, joins us to talk about the new chapter in Gilead. Plus, Wildlife 101, how to keep the animals around us safe as they come out of hibernation. It all starts now on The Social.
Welcome, host of The Social's digital series Momlife Crisis, Kate McKenna, to the panel today. Okay, so Drew Barrymore, we know her, we love her, she spills it all. And she just recently tearfully shared her body insecurities on a recent episode of her show. I guess so the question we're gonna crack at is that empowering, or is it actually maybe a little dangerous to be saying the words like, my body is wrecked?
Interesting.
From having kids.
I saw this clip yesterday when I was on social media, and I immediately DM'd it to a friend because I knew it would resonate with her. And the thing is, this is the way women talk to each other. I don't think Drew meant anything. I don't think it's empowering. I don't think it's dangerous. I think she was just telling her truth. And that's the way she felt in that moment. She's also a woman in perimenopause. And like, I could cry just watching her cry at this moment. So like, I just think, like, let's go easy on Drew.
I had the same reaction because I love the relatability of it. That is how a lot of women speak, rightly or wrongly, about their bodies. And I think we really sanitize a lot about motherhood. Like, think about childbirth even. Childbirth is major. It can lead to blood loss and hemorrhage and tearing, even C-sections. That's major abdominal surgery. And yet, what do we see on Instagram? We see a baby with a hello, my name is tag and a giant bow. And I just think if we sanitized it a little bit less and were a little bit more real, then maybe women would feel seen and feel less alone.
Interesting. I saw, clap for that, that's great. Two things came to mind when I was watching that clip. First of all, I can tell the cultural difference because she's saying that her body's wrecked. I'm looking at her, she still looks gorgeous. And I come from the Caribbean and African culture where the men and the people in our community like a little extra. We enjoy a little stretch mark. No man is afraid of a little C-section scar. But she lives in a world where, you know, Hollywood still wants you to be a size 2 and very skinny. So I wonder if that's affecting her. And the other part is perhaps she's also reckoning with just her new identity, because we all know that she was a child star who turned into a Hollywood it girl, right? She was married 3 times, she was engaged several times, she always had some high-profile boyfriend, and now she's in a different phase of her life. She's a 50-something-year-old woman, she's divorced, she has 2 kids, and she always talks about being single on the show. I don't know if you guys noticed this. So I wonder if she's struggling with, you know, she's not getting the same attention she used to get when she was in her 20s. Remember when she was hot and everybody wanted her and she was flashing her boobs at David Letterman. So I wonder if the scars, it's something a little bit deeper where she's just kind of reckoning with this new version of herself that she's not quite ready to embrace or she's not loving yet.
Which is also very relatable as well. Like, I think a lot of women, to your point, don't talk about the grief that there can exist of your body and your existence going through so many changes as you enter into motherhood.
And not just physically either, but emotionally. Like, I also could have cried watching her because while I can't relate to not liking my physical body as much after kids, I can relate to liking my old self a lot more. You know, I was less angry, I was less cynical, and I don't know if I'll ever be that person again. So I have empathy for her, and I think you touching on identity is apt.
I'm just really sad that the word that she used was wrecked, even though I get where she's coming from. I also had a C-section. I also had a child later in life. What does that mean? I've always been into fitness and health and all of those things, and my body's been a big part of that. And when you do, C-section is no joke. They fully open your abdomen wide out, and sometimes your guts are out there on the table. Sorry to be so crude. It's what happens. It is a massive shift, and I know I'll never have the abs back that I had before, but I also am sad because the word wrecked, I just think if you're her child hearing that, it feels a little funny to me. And my daughter and I, every year on her birthday, we do the same ritual where we watch all the videos and photos that her father and I took when we were on our way to the hospital. And then we did not have a planned C-section. It was an emergency C-section and all of the surprise. But to this day, I proudly show her my C-section. And every time we look at it, she's like, I came from there. And so it's part of the story and the narrative that you tell yourself. And I'm not about to tell Drew, who, by the way, is 51. She is spot on for menopause age. She was actually at month 11 of no periods, just got her period, so she has to start back at 0. So I do think this is not a postpartum body. This is also a perimenopausal body. And I would like to normalize that conversation as well.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to another wrecked body. A U.S. skier, Lindsey Vonn, has gone through 5 surgeries since her traumatic crash at the Milano Cortina Olympics, but she's still considering a comeback. Lindsey said in an interview with Today that she never got to say goodbye and is struggling with the mental toll of it all. So the question is emotional closure worth the physical risk? No. You guys don't agree?
No, I'm with you guys. I don't think so. And I think the idea of chasing this perfect goodbye is like chasing a ghost. One of the things we love about sports is that you have no idea how things are going to go, particularly in a sport like hers that is downhill and dangerous. So, you know, there's no way for her to know that this perfect run even exists, and I just think the risks are too great.
I just think it's none of our business to tell people that they can't achieve their dreams.
Especially a woman.
I will not say for a second that I understand the mind of an athlete, right? I think that she's not just like any athlete. She knows what number one looks and feels and tastes like. And I think that for an athlete, for sure. I mean, I compare her to a Tom Brady, right? She doesn't have children. She doesn't have a partner that I'm aware of. She can do whatever she wants. Go and throw your body down a hill. It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, but you do you, boo.
But do you think it's...
Right?
I'm certainly not telling her. I love covering athletes. I'm not telling her that she should or shouldn't do it. But do you think the risk is worth it?
I'm not here to tell her. It's her body and it's her risk. Tom Brady had other things going on and he still refused to stop. She doesn't have anybody. She owes nobody anything except to chase her dreams.
I just think that you're never guaranteed emotional closure on anything. Like people get fired from jobs, marriages end abruptly, health issues divert our attention, people die. And so this idea that we can guarantee, even if she goes back in there, I just think that there's such a huge chance that she won't get what she's looking for. To me, you got to figure out other routes.
But isn't that her path to follow?
It might be, but like a lot of athletes do this and it doesn't end well. I'm just going to tell you about one, Brandon Roy, that I was reading about today from the NBA.
Sounds like a champion.
Okay, he had knee issues. He retired in 2011, made an attempt to come back in 2012. His knees failed. First 5 games of the season, that was the end. Wasn't his choice. Ronnie Lott, NFL. He broke his pinky finger. He was given the option, fix it or play on. He chose to play on, and eventually he had to amputate that finger. So I'm just saying.
But there's a lot of athletes who do this, and I am Team Vonn, and she's a woman in her 40s, and I'm going to trust someone who's been skiing since she was 2 years old, that she's going to know when it's her time. Because she did retire in 2019, and she did what everybody thought she should do, and clearly it didn't work because she came back out. And maybe she's reconciled with herself that she's like, I tried civilian life, and it's not for me. I don't like it, because I did what everybody thought I was supposed to do. So if I die on that hill, that's my choice, and that's what I want to do. And I think I'm incensed by it because ever since most women know this, since you were a little girl, hasn't always someone been telling you what you can and cannot do, what you shouldn't and shouldn't do? And I'm sure when her parents had her at 9 years old going down the hills, there were probably someone going, I don't think that's very safe for a little girl. But she turned into an Olympian and then it shut everybody up. So I say, let her do what she wants to do, regardless of the results. She has to live with it, not us. We weren't there through all the practices, through the wins, through the hurts. So if she's okay with it, I'm good with it.
Our knees are going to be fine. Our knees are going to be fine.
I'm good with it.
Let's take a break, everybody. And then is there such a thing as, gosh, a bad floor crossing? Have you been watching politics in Canada over the last few days? So we're going to debate after a staunch conservative shocked a lot of people by crossing the floor from the Conservatives to the Liberals. We'll discuss right after this.
Next week on The Social, best-selling author and YouTuber Pi from Hot Thai Kitchen is here to inspire home cooks everywhere.
So we're having a conversation up here, but there's also a conversation happening online. So if you'd like to jump onto that convo, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts about this next story, because the Liberals are now just one seat away from a majority government after a long time. After longtime Conservative MP Marilyn Gladu crossed the floor, shocking both Liberals and Conservatives. Gladu vehemently opposed the Liberals' move to legalize cannabis. She questioned vaccine mandates and said she would allow caucus members to bring forward private members' bills to restrict abortion during her bid for the Conservative leadership. Despite giving the Liberals another seat, do you guys think this will hurt the party in the long run?
I don't think it will personally. I think that, A, she's helping the Liberals get closer to a majority, and that is what is needed in order for them to actually get work done, and I think that's extraordinarily important. I also think she's walked back quite a few of her most controversial comments. I think that's important. Besides that, I think the best way to actually open up or change someone's views on something is not to push them away, to actually invite them in. So I actually think this is actually going to help the Liberals in ways we can't even imagine at this point.
Yeah, but...
Oh, okay.
You know, there's something about changing people's ways. I mean, she's not 18 espousing these views. She has been a politician for a very, very long time. In fact, just 3 weeks ago, she and a bunch of other Conservative MPs did this in the House of Commons while they were voting for Bill C-9, which is anti-hate bill.
And what are they doing here,
And what
Mel?
are they doing? They're holding Bibles on their chest. That some people said, not only is this not allowed, but what, I'm sorry, I thought we were in Canada where there's a separation of church and state. That's number one. Number two, somebody there, I don't know which MP it was, actually did this at the end. And I just said, God, this smells and looks a little Trumpy to me. There is a movement of Christian nationalism in the United States of America that a lot of us do not want up here. So that move she was part of, that was just on March the 25th. How much has she changed?
Maybe that's why she left, guys. Maybe she just
held it. Nobody made her do this.
What are you saying?
Nobody made her.
Sometimes it's hard when a majority, we know politics are not that different from any kind of group dynamics. A lot of times you feel like you have to go along with the group.
You feel like you have to. There's someone called the party whip who whips you into shape to align with the rest of the party.
There were a lot of Conservative MPs sitting who did not do that stunt.
See, I think this is all strategy. I don't trust politicians, regardless of what side of the aisle they are. And I see everything they do as strategy. And I'm going to take you back, because I think our memory's a little bit short. Just before Trudeau resigned, remember the attitude that everybody had towards the Liberal Party, those in the party and those outside of the party. They said, we need a reset. We're not connecting with Canadians anymore. And that wasn't just coming from the opponents. That was also coming from Liberals, people in the Liberal Party. So then fast forward. So remember, it was he left, and then Donald Trump had just won the month before. Donald Trump got in January, started doing all kinds of nonsense, annexation of Canada, the tariffs and everything. And at that time, just before that happened, we thought Pierre Poilievre was for sure going to be our next prime minister.
Yeah.
But because he was so aligned with Trump and Trump immediately started doing all this craziness, everybody was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then we went to the liberal side of things, right? And Mark Carney happened to be in the right place at the right time, and that is why he won. But I think he's also a smart man to be like, yes, I won, but I'm also listening. I'm still listening to what there were the complaints that were happening while Trudeau was in office, which is you're not connecting with the people. So to me, this is a strategy to try to connect with the people.
Can I ask you
to try to diversify that group?
I don't know what the answer is to this. Do you think she owes us an explanation for her past behavior, or do you think that the Liberal Party owes us an explanation why they were wooing her to come over to the other
If
side?
we do that, then every politician has to answer that question.
She's not just any politician.
But don't we know
but
why?
if we're gonna make her answer that question,
But don't we
others
know
have
why?
to.
Like, listen, I feel for her constituents. If you're conservative in her riding and you voted conservative and now she's crossed the floor, I understand that. But the writing's on the wall, right? Like, there is some political opportunism here. She wants to, as you bring up, likely be part of a likely majority government. So does she owe us an explanation? Probably not. And to your point, I think people can change. And to me, that's what I appreciate about floor crossings is the humanness of this. What bugs me so much is the way that people tend to vote. Is the way that people tend to vote largely only along party lines. Think about the way we speak. I am a liberal. I am a conservative. We put out lawn signs that brand us a particular way. I would prefer someone come in and vote for a party on issues specifically. So I'm willing to let people change, as you pointed out earlier.
And also to have the party change, because that's what people are asking for.
That's a great point. Speaking of the party changing, he's not only brought in four conservative MPs, but also one NDP MP. And I think that's impressive.
This was a change we were asking for.
Gosh, I'm looking for some explanations. I need some explanations, Mr. Carney. Anyway, let's take a break. The cast of The Testaments is here next. We'll be right back.
Daisy may be joining your class.
She's going to be a plum?
Perhaps. I'd like you to show her around, make her feel comfortable, be her shepherdess. It's an honor for you, Agnes.
Thank you, Aunt Lydia.
Daisy, be a good girl and stay with Agnes. Lambs don't stray.
Yes, Aunt Lydia.
Welcome back. Well, that was a look at the next chapter in the world of The Handmaid's Tale, The Testaments. Based on the novel by Margaret Atwood, this new series is a really powerful coming-of-age story set, of course, in Gilead.
Our favorite place.
Well.
Is it our favorite place? I don't know about that. Well, we are thrilled to have some of the stars of The Testaments with us today. Please welcome. It is so exciting to say Chase Infiniti, Lucy Halliday, and Ann Dowd.
Great to have you on.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
Yes.
Chase, I want to just start with you by asking, the last two characters you have played, Agnes in The Testaments and Willa in One Battle After Another, they are such incredibly strong female characters. So what is it like for you to play these types of characters at this stage in your career?
Oh, it feels incredible because they're such strong young women, which I really do love and I'm inspired by. But I think also on top of that, I feel such a large sense of responsibility as well because of what they stand for, what they overcome. But I love both Agnes and Willa so much, and I'm really inspired by them.
So great.
So exciting.
Nice.
Well, Ms. Lucy, this is the first time that we audiences are introduced to your character, Daisy.
Yes.
And what can you tell us about this Pearl girl? And I understand she has a connection in the show to Toronto.
She does. So Daisy is very much the new kid on the block. She has been dropped into Gilead, and it is a new world altogether for her because she's lived a very normal upbringing in Toronto. So we love it. And so Gilead is very different from her, from the life that she's known, and she's having to assimilate in this environment with these people who she thinks are so backwards and far off from the life she's known. And so there's a lot of getting to know and trying to adapt for Daisy.
Yes, very relatable. Anne, we saw you at the end of The Handmaid's Tale, and Lydia's reflection and remorse was palpable. She had this sort of awakening around her actions. Now, The Testaments takes place 15 years after the end of that. So what's it been like stepping back into this role?
Oh, it's been a real pleasure. It really has. It's a privilege to do so. For us, we're saying it's about 4 to 5 years. That's how we're doing it for the show.
Oh, okay.
And so Lydia, after being in that state of deep remorse and guilt, spends time with it until it dissipates and drops. And then she asks herself, what am I going to do with my life now? What am I here to do? How can I serve God? And she decides to establish an academy for the daughters of high commanders and our Pearl girls, and focus on them and educating them to be good wives, good mothers, good homemakers, good hostesses, all husband and home. That's the focus.
Husband and home.
Sorry, no reading or writing.
Sorry, no reading or writing. Did you hear that part? Welcome to Gilead. What I love about the series is that it's always exploring power, but also specifically rage. Specifically rage in women and in young women. And in the Testaments, this scene is whoa, is all I'm going to say. And we see in this scene, there is nothing scarier than a group of young teenage women full of rage. You have to watch it to see that. Lucy, I want to ask you this because, of course, Daisy is like, whoa, what is happening here? But the idea of how is it that you think that young women today can harness our voices, maybe literally, screaming, or perhaps figuratively in other ways?
Well, I think one of the ways is what we see a lot of in the show, and it's the utilising of the friendships that they have, because the banding together of human beings, whether it be in the show or in reality, is such a powerful vice in enacting change and disrupting a cause or a regime, because it's unsettling when people are in groups that are large, and when you're in a large group, you're powerful because there's many of you and you're all fighting for the same thing, and we see that in the show, and we can see that in reality. But yeah, it's unsettling, some of the scenes in this show, but I hope people feel that.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, the thing is that what has always been really unsettling about the Handmaid's Tale world and Gilead is that it, really reflects a lot of places that in real life and things that are happening in the world today. This series is no different, except that it's dealing with a bit younger group. And what's interesting to me is that this incredible ensemble of young actors. And I'm wondering, with this heavy material, Chase, were there moments of levity? Like, how do you kind of break the tension?
Oh, completely. I think, above all, I think all of the credit for the incredible work that we do on the screen is just a testament to how strong our friendship was off screen between all of the girls. And I think we also feel so grateful to have worked with such an incredible cast, incredible ensemble of women who we all genuinely loved, because we kept the energy light on set. We kept it very safe. We kept it very supportive. So if there was ever a day that felt scary or unexpectedly difficult, we were all there to catch each other. And we also had the ability to leave everything on set because of that strong bond between the girls and our entire cast and crew.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
I think it's so beautiful. Yeah. It's so beautiful to watch them, just as they said, as Chase has just said, supporting one another, always ready to do the work, respectful of the work, prepared to do the work. And they're young women. I mean, when I was that age, no, I wasn't. I wasn't as advanced. I just wasn't. And so I'm really honored to watch this go on every time. Oh yeah. No question about it. Beautiful.
So Elizabeth Moss, of course, she's an executive producer on this series. So Lucy and Chase, as the newbies, so to speak, to the Margaret Atwood universe, did Elizabeth give you any advice about entering this world?
Oh goodness, I think she was such a valuable source for both of us, because she's an encyclopedia when it comes to Gilead and these characters. And so we definitely utilised that. But I think the best thing that she gave us was actually just the reassurance and the space to step into these characters, because Handmaid's was so beloved, it was so prolific, and there's nerves and there's responsibility coming into this world. We don't want to ruin it for people who've loved it. And so to have Elizabeth Moss essentially give us a thumbs up was invaluable. And that was the best piece of advice.
So cool.
Yeah.
I was saying that, on commercial break as we were getting ready, I was going to say, welcome to Toronto, but you're kind of all honorary Canadians now.
Thank you.
I would like to say, because
We love it here so much.
I don't know how many people do know this, but much like The Handmaid's Tale and now The Testaments, The Testaments is shot here in Ontario. And so cool. And what's cool about that is, like, cool things. I'll say two cool things. Number one is our horses got to be used in the show The Testaments. So we're Ontario, and that was really cool. But is there anything that was Canadian or Ontario-based that anybody became obsessed with on set? Like, are you maple syrup addicts now?
Ketchup
What's
chips?
happening?
I love ketchup chips. I love ketchup chips.
Beaver tails?
We became addicted to beaver tails.
Really?
I never heard of either of those. I have no idea what you're talking about.
We're going to get you a beaver tail.
Well, what I would say is winners. Sorry, it's not.
Wait, what?
Winners! Oh my God! And Value Village. Whoa.
You heard it here first.
And I live in New York City. You know, we're not short on stores. These are fantastic. Love them.
They are going to send you a thank you gift. I am certain of it. Well, to the three of you, we are just so proud to have you here with us today. And the show, it feels more apt than ever to have you here and to do the show. So thank you all.
Thank you. Beautiful audience. Lovely audience.
Okay, we want to tell you, this is a must-watch. The first 3 episodes of The Testaments are right now streaming on Hulu, on Disney+. That's in Canada. And we've got new episodes dropping weekly. It is a must-watch show. Yay. With that said, let's take a very quick break and then a look at the new season of our digital series, Momlife Crisis. We'll be back right after this.
Welcome back. Momlife Crisis is a digital series streaming on The Social's YouTube channel featuring Canadian women talking about the challenges of motherhood that so often go unspoken. In the latest edition, we turn our attention to a group of moms who don't often get the spotlight, widows. Take a look.
I've already done the hardest thing. I've told my kids their dad died. What else is harder than that?
I remember thinking, I can go to my dad for comfort, and my children will never get that opportunity again.
I feel relieved, and now I feel like a horrible person that I've said it out loud, that I feel relieved that my husband died.
The emotional aloneness is so soul-crushing. It's so real, and no one prepares you for it.
Does resentment ever creep in?
Yes.
Sorry. If I could pick up men like I pick up widows, I'd be living my best life right now.
Literally, her husband passed away, and then 4 days later, I showed up on her doorstep, wild-eyed, here's the macaroni, and are we gonna be lifelong friends?
I didn't know my heart could hold so much love, and it happened again.
Every day is a blessing. We're still here, and it's just remembering that. Good moments, the bad moments, but I'm here, and it just puts everything into perspective.
Here to tell us more about the series are 2 of the Momlife Crisis panelists, Nadine Lee and Jessica Foley. Welcome to the show. Listen, I was saying to Kate, I watched this morning, and it's so powerful, and it does take so much vulnerability for the both of you to share your stories so openly. So thank you both for being here. Jess, I want to start with you because your late husband, Stephen, was running the Ottawa half marathon when his heart suddenly stopped. You had a 3-year-old and were 7 months pregnant at the time. And you say in those early days, you put a lot of pressure on yourself to just kind of get over the grief. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Absolutely. As you said, I was pregnant at the time, and we all know a newborn brings, a busy life. So in my mind, I thought, okay, I've got 8 weeks to get better. So I was going to grief groups, reading all the books. And then, over time, I realized, oh, wait a minute, there is no end date to this grief.
And Nadine, your former partner and the father of your children, Paul, died of cancer. And in terms of your relationship, you were separated from him when he died. And one of the things that was so poignant was you brought up during the episode that as a result of that, you didn't feel like you belonged in the widow club. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, I felt like I had the privilege of being able to process the end of my marriage and the end of what I thought my life was going to be like. So my emotional burden seemed less compared to the other women who are also dealing with this. Also on a formal perspective, there is no avenue at work in terms of how do you fall into the box of somebody whose co-parent who you separated with has died? There's no workplace policy on that.
No support.
No, there's no support. So trying to advocate for yourself and navigate that during that time was so hard for me. And I went back to work at 6 weeks, which seems ludicrous looking back at that now.
Yeah. Well, Nadine, let's talk more about this because you spoke very candidly about the realities of being a working mom when you have a partner who has recurring cancer. So talk about what you remember about that time.
I was suffering from caregiver burnout, like really intensively. I had 2 small kids. I was trying to manage my career at the same time. And I remember being at the hospital and reading this pamphlet about like living with cancer. And it said, you know, when you have small kids and your partner has cancer, like you're just there and getting through the crisis. And that's your main focus. And I was like, that's great advice if you have cancer once. But I didn't want to live my life, you know, only living in a crisis. And because this is hitting every like 3 years, I was like, it's going on and on. And people would tell me like, Nadine, you're juggling all of these balls, like put one down. And I was like, I've been through this 2-3 times. I've already deprioritized everything I possibly can. Like what can I put down? Everything feels like I can't put it down. And so it was trying to get through it day by day. It was trying to get it through like without having a mental breakdown, just one day at a time.
Yeah, I mean, it was so interesting to be an observer to all of these conversations. And one of the parts that was really interesting you delve into is re-entering the dating scene after your partner has died. And Jess, you said it's tough to meet someone who has the capacity to be in a relationship with you and your late husband. Can you say more?
Of course. I mean, it takes a special person to hold that space. For me, Stephen will always be, you know, shown in our home in pictures. We will always celebrate his birthday. He's the father of my children. And I always try to compare it to, as a mom, when you have your first child, you think like, oh my God, I can't imagine loving anything more than this. And then if you are lucky enough to have a second child, you realize like you don't have to split this love. There's so much love and your heart just expands. Yeah. And so I would describe widowed dating like that. Stephen will always have my heart, but I have so much more love to give. And it's not like he's dead. There's no competition, you know?
It's such a good analogy. That really sat with me. You know, when I told people about this series, and I've already told you guys this, people recoiled a little bit because I think there was worry that it would be a really sad chat or depressing chat, and I think people were unnerved by that. And yet, you know, as you all saw in the trailer, there was a lot of laughter and a lot of joy and a lot of humanity in your stories. And I'm wondering if you could both share, and Jess, we'll start with you, the ways people really showed up for you and supported you in your grief.
I've been so fortunate to have so much love sent our way. The night that I had my daughter, the nurses in the case room let me stay in the case room that night. They said, you know, we don't have a private room, and we know you don't want to be in a bed next to a fully intact family. So stay here, do what you need to do. And then just a few days later, my family doctor came to my house and did our newborn checkup. And then she stayed and folded laundry with my mom. And like and my mom, of course, is like the ultimate angel, but yeah, been so lucky.
Nadine, what about you?
I had like a mom in our class, and she just put together a fund for us that really, she went around to all of the parents and was like, hey, can we collect things for Nadine and her family?
Unbeknownst to you.
And I didn't know about it. She just like gave it to me. She was like, here it is, here's access. And it was so nice to know that like the community would just come together and support us in that way. Another way is that our school just stopped celebrating Father's Day. I didn't ask for this, but they recognized there's a number of families in the school where, you know, they weren't this normal family definition, and they were like, we're just gonna lean into Family Day and celebrate Family Day rather than individual parents. Yeah. And it was so nice. I didn't have to advocate for it. I didn't have to push for it. It was just like, here it is, and that was amazing.
Yeah. It's so beautiful, and that's the other part of this series that I appreciated, was learning about all the ways to support anyone going through grief.
Yes.
So thank you for being here today, and thank you for being part of this series.
Thank you.
If this conversation intrigued you, I hope you check out Momlife Crisis on the Socials YouTube page or listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. You'll hear more from these two incredible women, but you'll also hear from the other two panelists. Sarah so powerfully discusses what it was like living with a husband who had substance use disorder and the stigma that exists around drug use. And Sam really beautifully talks about her journey towards finding love again. It is a thoughtful, heartfelt conversation, and you can stream it right now. It's time for a break. We'll be right back. This week marks National Wildlife Week, a time to celebrate and learn how to protect the animals around us, which is especially important during the busy spring season.
Absolutely, and here with tips on how we can all do our part is veterinarian Dr. Cliff Redford, wildlife educator Crystal Hewitt, and three of her friends, Coco the snapping turtle, Isaac the Virginia opossum, and Nagini the rat snake being held by the lovely Emma.
Now, we know that you work together in wildlife conservation, but it's a process. And Dr. Cliff, I know that you are step one. I'm well aware there's no eyes on me. Everybody's looking at the animals. So what happens at Shades of Hope Wildlife Refuge, particularly in the spring?
Yeah, it's this great wildlife rehab place just north of Toronto, and I volunteered there the last 7 or 8 years. Unfortunately, the spring brings a lot of animal-human interactions that aren't always positive. So they come to us, we all work together, we try and help them heal so we can release them. And if we can't, with the Ministry of Natural Resources permission, I give my good friend Crystal a call and she takes it from there.
Yeah, good stuff, Crystal. I'm sorry, that possum is eating like a guy I used to date, so I just can't take my... So I just can't take my of him. Okay, wait. So Crystal, you're the director of operations at Speaking of Wildlife. So can you give us a refresher on what happens when the wildlife arrives at your facility?
So it's important to mention that not every animal that is non-releasable can become an ambassador like Isaac here. But there's a process. It starts at the rehabilitation center. The assessment that the animal can't go back to the wild continues at our facility where we ensure the animal is comfortable and thriving in captivity. And then we build trust and we start training and we work with their limitations and a big bowl of positive reinforcement in front of them.
Love that.
So the last time you were here, we played a game, and it was fun. It was a wildlife trivia game called Truth or Tale. So we're going to do it again, but this time we're putting a spring spin on it. So does everyone have their paddles?
You guys got your paddles? All right, let's do this.
Okay, so truth or tale. If you see a snapping turtle like Coco crossing the road, you should pick it up by the tail to help it across.
Yeah.
Truth or tale?
Truth, right?
Oh. I'm going tail.
That
sounds painful.
is tail.
Really?
We don't want anyone picking up a turtle by its tail. However, with snapping turtles, the best way to identify them is indeed their tail. So by looking at the dinosaur spikes, you can tell it's a snapping turtle rather than any other species, and of course they get the name for a reason. So you want to pick them up, keeping that tail in mind. Keep your hands close to the tail or underneath the turtle so they can't reach you.
See, that's what I was thinking. Keep the hand close to the tail because that front part, you don't want to get snapped.
Exactly. You don't want to boop the snoot.
Okay, you don't want to boop. Okay, gotcha. All right, so let's go on to our next one. Wildlife is more likely to cross roads in the spring than any other time of year. Is that truth, folks, or tale? I think I'm going to go with the audience on this one. True.
That's a very smart crowd. Yes, that is true. The warm weather brings out nesting behaviors. They're coming out of hibernation. They're looking for a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And they cross the road. So if you see the wildlife crossing signs, pay attention. They're there for a reason. I don't want to see any of those animals that, that you might have accidentally clipped.
There's my ex-boyfriend again.
How long that relationship lasts for?
Not very long.
Okay. So let's talk about rat snakes like Nagini. So do they spend more time out in the open in spring because they like to warm up in the sun? Is that truth or tale?
What do you guys think?
Who doesn't like the sun?
I feel like Nagini likes the hot sun. What's the correct answer?
We're all hoping for that hot sun. Snakes and reptiles are hibernators, or brumators we call for ectotherms. So they've spent the whole winter sleeping, they're cold, they're looking for that sunshine like many of us after this past winter. And of course with that comes food and activity.
So it's true?
It's true.
It's true.
Wait.
Okay.
Are we just gonna ignore that Nagini's on Emma's head? We're just gonna pretend that's normal? Okay, let's just move on. Okay, so truth or tale? If you see a baby animal alone, it has likely been abandoned and needs help.
Because if its mom comes back, right?
But if it's by itself.
But it's mom.
So it's generally a tale.
Okay.
That's generally false. Most moms, understandably, need a couple of hours.
Yes,
It's the
they
mom life crisis.
Mom life.
Let them give them a break.
Tying it back.
Deers, bunnies, they commonly leave their young for just a few hours. So, but possums. Possums are born around now, and they're really not away from their mom until the summertime. So if you see a hairless possum or it's really, really short, they might need some help. But most animals, leave them alone.
Okay.
Thank you for the inspo for the next Mom Life Crisis episode. Thank you.
Possums need time too.
Vet version.
Vet version. Okay, if you find a baby bird without proper feathers, you should put it back in the nest, paddles up. Is that truth or tale?
Put it back in the nest. I don't know. That's a tough one.
That one is true. If you
Really?
If you find a nestling, so a baby bird that doesn't have proper feathers, might have their eyes still closed, their best chance is with mom. So if you know where that nest is and you can pop them back up there, that old saying that the mom's gonna come back, smell that you on their babies and abandon them, not true.
Okay, good.
Most mothers know where it's at, and they don't care if their babies smell bad.
Okay, I love that. Okay, good to know. All right, so the next one. Opossums, like Isaac over here, don't offer much benefit to humans come spring. Truth or tale? That is tale. This one I know.
That is definitely a tale. Opossums are much more valuable than your ex-boyfriend.
I'm sure. I know that for a fact.
For a fact, opossums eat up to 100 ticks a day, so they help protect us against Lyme disease. They look scary, but they're not aggressive, and they can even they're kind of free of rabies, so they can't hurt us.
Oh, that's great to know. Isaac, you know what? I was wrong about you. Good guy.
Well, speaking of helping wildlife, Dr. Cliff, you're participating in the WWF Climb for Nature on May 2nd and 3rd. Can you tell us a bit more about the event?
Yeah, it's a great event put on by WWF. There's different climbs all around Canada that you can do. You can even do like a virtual climb. Last year, we were elbows up against the US, so I decided to dress up as Captain Canada.
Love that.
Thank you.
Love that.
Thank you. The diet began about a week before that. I took that. We climbed 1,776 steps. Wow. The money goes to WWF. I know Melissa Grelo's done it as well, so everyone can check it out and donate and have a good time and dress up if you need to.
Right. Are you dressing up this year?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe. I always dress up.
That's a teaser. Okay. Well, this was fascinating. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks. In the sleeve. Okay.
Stick around. We'll be right back.
I love the way Nagini...
All right, tomorrow on The Social, a new documentary tells the story of renowned wildlife artist Robert Bateman and the trip that inspired his environmental activism. Also tomorrow, Chef Charlotte Langley is back to convince us why we all need artisanal vinegar in our lives. Artisanal vinegar, anyone?
I don't even know what that means.
Good?
Yeah.
Try it.
Just old vinegar?
Not a clue.
Not
Fancy
a clue.
vinegar?
Fancy vinegar?
Fancy
We don't know.
vinegar, it's true.
If anyone can sell it, she can sell it.
You're absolutely
We
right.
got real range on today's show and
There
tomorrow's
was
show.
a big thank you to all the guests, the humans and the animals that were joining us today. And you, Kate, thank you.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow, everybody. Take care.